I've just bought 3 AI agent coins. Today, you're going to find out which ones I've bought and why I've bought them. Let's get straight to it. Welcome back to another episode. This is episode 2 of the new series that we're doing, this 10k to 100k portfolio challenge. And we're going to be talking about AI agents, and that's because that is still the narrative, and that is pretty much what's hot at the moment. And I think there's some pretty outsized returns if you're able to find interesting things a little bit early. Anyway, today we're first of all going to talk about what's been happening in AI agent land, and you'll see on screen that I've got a tweet here that I posted yesterday just talking about the pullbacks that we've seen across a lot of these assets. We're talking 30 to 60%, at times even 80 or 90%. And what's really interesting is that as of yesterday, the market did bounce actually, and a lot of these gains have been erased. In fact, some of these assets are now at all-time highs, for example, with AVA. And so I think the AI agent narrative is here to say, I think these are the tests that come. It's pretty normal to see big corrections, and I think we probably will see more corrections over time as well. So what have I been interested in? Well, I mean, first of all, you can get a lot of alpha if you use a website like Cookies AI, because you can really see where the mind share is for a lot of these AI agent tokens. No, of course, no financial advice. I'm not telling you to buy any of these. I think some of these will go up. Some of these, in fact, most of these will go down. But one thing that I realized with AI agents is this is an attention trade. And, we're not really buying this stuff because the fundamentals of these specific assets are incredible and their cash flow is really good. It's not like that whatsoever. In fact, these agents at times might not even be agents, and there's some human elements involved. They don't earn any cash flow, let's be real. And so this is purely an attention trade. And so there are different metrics that you really need to pay attention to when it comes to figuring out what's good and what's not good. Right now as well, you're seeing so many of these agents launch every single day. And so it is a really fragmented space already, just in a matter of a few months. It is difficult. And so you have to be very specific. And you also have to rotate quickly as well. It's something that I've realized. The lifespan of these agents is very, very short. Very short. And so what you'll probably find is that I'm probably someone who will be rotating a lot quicker than I often rotate, especially for those who have followed the previous series. There's some positions there that are held for weeks, if not months. This won't be the case here whatsoever. I think we're talking about days here. It's a very different way of investing, in my opinion. It's really all about the narrative. Let's first of all talk about FXN, which is essentially a framework for swarms or agent-to-agent interactions. And they're essentially creating this network layer of agents that can interact with one another. Now, they do actually have one product, which is this open source interactive swarm where these agents can participate with one another in this game. And so it's called AI Den. It is a gaming platform where these agents kind of compete with one another. It is open source, and you can kind of find it right now. I'll leave a link to this in the description below if you want to kind of check it out. But this is just the first of probably many other interactive swarms that come from FXN. And I think we really, with the latest news around this upgrade called FXN Action Engine, they're really looking at creating something called applied swarms. And I think this is pretty interesting. The TLDR is essentially, look, agents, if they really want to perform specific actions, they need to be extremely specialized. And that requires a lot of fine tuning for their specific LLMs. And the question is, like, as an agent, why would you spend so much time to try and become an expert by being specialized in every single domain? It's just not possible. Instead, what you can have is a variety of agents, a whole swarm of agents who are specialists in their own niche, and these agents need to be able to interact with one another. And that's essentially what the FXN network is essentially aiming to do, creating this network layer for these agents to all interact with their specialities. And that's kind of where the AI agent action engine from FXN kind of comes into play, which is this framework for agents from both Web 2 and Web 3 to basically interact with one another. And so that's basically the plan. I mean, this is the first of their training, and I think this is very, very early stage still. But I do think this was pretty interesting. And so we'll talk about what's in the portfolio, but FXN is certainly up there. I think the other thing that's really interesting is the DeFi AI sector. And I think probably because of my background being in DeFi. I think I probably find this a little bit more interesting, especially seeing agents that can have plugins, for example, wallets or kind of cross-chain interaction layers that can perform actions on chain. And there is one here called Thales, which has got some incredible integrations already from the likes of Story Protocol, Nillion as well. This has been really, really interesting. And so, yeah, another thing that I've kind of been paying attention to, and this one is an agent that I am a big fan of as well. And lastly, we have something called Sandy, or Codex, I should say, which is an AI agent framework for content or video-based creation. And this is more in the entertainment sector. This is by Sandwich AI. They have the Codex framework. And I think this one's a really, really interesting one as well. Just that kind of how you can use agents for video-based content, and the quality is really, really, really good. You can see that the developers are kind of improving the narrative with resolution and outputs and things like that from these agents as well. So yeah, I think this one's also another really, really cool one. The agent space is rapidly evolving, so I think you really got to keep on top of things like cookies.fun, or like follow people like 0xJeff, who really can help with keeping up with what's going on. This is a list of all kind of AI content to kind of cover over the next couple of days. The thing is that in a few days' time, this will all be outdated, and so it'll be time to like read new stuff. And so you really, really got to keep on top of everything. There are tons and tons and tons of things happening every single day, but these are just a few that I find very interesting. Now, if we look at the portfolio at the moment, you can see that we've allocated to those three assets. We have Sandy, Thales, FXN. The allocation is slightly different across all of them depending on kind of their valuations. I believe Sandy is trading at a 7 million market cap, Thales is trading at 18 million, and FXN, the largest, is at around a 45 to 48 million valuation. So we've just purchased these today actually, which is why overall it's just a couple of percent difference. I mean, these are volatile, they change 10% on the hour. So please bear that in mind. But yeah, don't copy trade me, by the way. There's going to be lots of times where I get things completely wrong as well. But we'll be in these positions for a little while. We'll see how long things remain like this for. You might be thinking, you've got a bit of stable coins. What are you going to do with them? I'm going to just hold on to them in case an interesting opportunity comes up. There are a few already that are coming up already in the agent space, but also not in the agent space. I think Bearer Chain is also going to be a really interesting thing. So we will need some capital to play around with that as well. But in the interim, we've still got a couple of weeks until that comes to fruition. And so in that time, we're going to be playing around with some agents. Maybe we can grow this a little bit. Let's see. But I think this is the plan for now. So let me know what your thoughts are. Smash the like button, subscribe to the channel. This is just episode 2. We'll be back with another episode in due time.